We're so excited today. We've got Joss Lategan with us from Stronger with Joss, and she does women's fitness events. Very well known, especially Atlantic Seaboard side. She's built such an incredible community, helping women feel stronger. You focus a lot on workouts, runs, and real life physical and mental health are really important. So we'd love to hand over to you and welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I mean, what a great start to the day in this weather. It's just so lovely to chat to you and have the light of you guys. So, yeah, I am a biokineticist and fitness instructor, and especially for women and women's mental and physical health. I started in COVID and when we were all doing exercise online and when the restrictions were lifted, I was like, okay, this is the time where we can all bring the women together and the community together, and move our bodies and meet other women and just go through what we were going through together. And it's kind of just built from there. So it's been an amazing journey, and I just can't wait to still keep it going. Yeah.
What is your main focus areas, would you say, with Stronger with Joss?
So our main focus area is definitely on physical as well as mental health for women. It did start off as mainly physical fitness classes and workouts and rooftop workouts, and it's kind of just grown into something a little bit more and different in terms of trying to find what connects women. So last year we did like a networking event for all women like entrepreneurs, and if you wanted to start your own business, we did a women's tire workshop to learn how to change your own tire and your road ride safety on the roads. So it's all kind of just like changed. So it's just grown and developed in terms of like what is needed in the world right now and what can we connect on with other women. So our main focus is whatever to do with physical and mental wellness with women and bringing them together. That's kind of the most important thing. And the people you meet along the way are like yourself are incredible. So it's just been such a blessed and beautiful journey.
Definitely, I totally agree with you. Can you tell us a bit about what you are discovering in terms of what South African women are really struggling with? Maybe name 2 or 3 areas in health or fitness.
Yeah, so I work a lot now with I Love Boobies. It's a breast cancer charity. So I feel like in a lot of the space, it's women's access to healthcare, which is quite a big barrier that we're trying to kind of solve and work around with that. And then maybe another aspect, what I do find is that a lot of our women are kind of nervous to get into that exercise space. I think it's about trying to shift their mentality. I think they're quite scared. It's like exercise has to be this daunting, high intensity, like hectic workouts. But at the end of the day, it's really not about that. It's about learning what feels good in your body. It's about connecting with other women and making those friendships and doing this together. So I think kind of changing that mentality on exercise doesn't need to be the scary thing. It can be super fun and it can be encouraging and it can be learning a new thing about yourself or your body or what your body likes. And so I think every single woman is different, and it's kind of like trying to change those barriers to exercise in any way we can.
Absolutely. Okay, amazing. I mean, that's such worthy areas to really focus on. How is mental health affected with fitness, in your opinion?
Yeah. So I feel like specifically for me, I've gone through a lot in terms of how they are interconnected, and I've really realized how you can't really have one without the other, and it feels like a really good space when you have both that mental and physical well-being. You know how important those two are together, and also that social aspect. So in terms of coming together and exercise in communities, you meet these people, and being outdoors or just doing some group activities really helps with your mental health. When I lost my dad before COVID, I was also going through a really big mental struggle, and really, to be honest, that exercise actually really helped. And that's how I got into being a biokineticist and a fitness instructor. And I had no idea how to do movement and exercise from school sport. So now kind of like finding that like what I really needed in that time was people and movement and those endorphins, and like just from that it stemmed to this community driven event space. So I really feel like those two, you can't have one without the other.
Exactly, so true. Um,
Yeah.
Perfect. So, what are the biggest misconceptions when it comes to female health and wellness, do you think?
Yeah, so I think the biggest misconception is that we all have to kind of do a certain type of exercise or look a certain way and or eat a certain way, you know? And at the end of the day, like I can't tell you how many clients and different clients I see, and everyone is just so strong and everyone has their own life and their own hours in the day. Like we all different, we all like living lives differently, but at the end of the day, it's like we can't all look the same or be the same. So it's all about kind of just finding what's right for your body and feeling beautiful in your body and encouraging and empowering other women. So at our events, usually the most like important thing I say is we don't compare ourselves to the women around us. We use them to empower and push and mingle and meet and connect, because you never know who you're going to meet. So I think that biggest misconception is like, it's like if you do this and this is how the outcome will be. But we're all so different. Our bodies work differently. And as women, we've just got to be gentle and kind to ourselves, which can be tough sometimes, but it's very important to come back to that.
Absolutely, especially with our sort of cycle driven systems, we push and we push and we push and we're extremely tough on ourselves. And sometimes we just need a reminder to kind of come back
That's
down.
so true. So true.
Yeah. In your opinion, what are
Mhm.
some great coping mechanisms to help women conquer anxiety and stress?
So, especially for me with coping anxiety and stress, I find that by speaking to my really close friends about what I'm going through, I feel like one of the most important things is to open up and communicate, or just find a safe space where you can do that. And that's my wish for other women, is that they find that kind of support system and that it's okay to open up about what you're going through. So I really feel like it's important to talk about it, and also trying to find what works for your stress and your coping mechanisms. Like sometimes if I get stressed, your body starts to hunch up and you start to close off. So it's like just relax the shoulders, focus on your breathing, come back to yourself, and yeah, trying to figure out what works for your coping mechanism. But for myself, it would be a lot of breath work, a lot of sitting with myself, and a lot of actually talking to my friends and my close people in my life about what's happening and how they can help. And yeah, I think finding a good support structure is very important.
I love that. Okay, so we've got extremely high breast cancer numbers, as you well know. Chat to us about why preventative care is so important in this space.
Yeah, so like I said, I work for I Love Boobies. So our entire approach is that early detection saves lives. So it is super important, because if we catch it early, there's like a really much better quality of life, and the treatment is a lot more successful and easier. So it is super important, especially for our women, to kind of know the signs of breast cancer and to test early, so that yeah, that our women can have that greater quality of life, because we also have a lot of single-headed households. We want our women to be screened and examined early on, so that the treatment is a little bit more accessible and easier than in those later stages.
Exactly. And what I think a lot of women don't realize is the later you leave it, the more expensive it gets. And
That's true. That's true.
the
Yeah.
worse the complications, because by then it would have spread into secondary areas. So it's better to nab it quickly.
Correct. Correct.
So, what does good health look like to you personally?
I love it, this question. So I think, yeah, I like exactly like we've been talking about. I feel it all has come into fruition in terms of good health is kind of finding that balance between mental, physical health, social health. I feel like I have this chat with a lot of clients, like there's so many different dynamics to what good health is. But I feel like you can just, like, we're so blessed just to be able to go for a walk and go outdoors and go outside and just have air in our lungs. So it's all about kind of understanding and being grateful for that, for what we have and the bodies we have. So I think gratitude is very my like number one. Gratitude in terms of like having my health, because I've seen, and what I deal with a lot with clients, and how they don't have that really much of good health in terms of a lot of like the elderly and they struggle to walk and sit. And I'm like, we have that right now. So it's like, how do we be grateful for this and this movement in ourselves? So yeah, I think good health is trying to find that balance between all those kind of concepts.
Absolutely. Okay, fantastic. So this might seem obvious to some, but talk about the importance of nutrition and why fueling your body is so important, especially with the current Ozempic sort of situation.
No, yeah, I think nutrition has played a huge role in my life in terms of kind of as a biokineticist and fitness instructor, we kind of in bio, we learn a lot about the body and the movement and physical wellness, and we're not really taught in our undergrad a lot about nutrition. Personally, I'm still learning and growing and figuring out what is best, but 100% it's about fueling your body. In my young teens, I was going through a lot of having a really bad relationship with food from one extreme to the next. And so, what I'm really trying to learn now, and what I'm very much grateful for, is just to slow down and understand that this food is fueling my body and I need energy, and especially as a woman, and to help like with my cycle and my muscles and my brain, and that I can give energy to other people, is that I do realize like I need my food and I need to eat well and I need to fuel myself properly, and not restrict or cut or do anything. There's no quick fixes in terms of anything. So it's about learning what fuels my body to give me energy so that I can exercise and then eat protein or good food afterwards so that I can exercise and do that again the next day. Because again, coming back to that, being grateful to move and be healthy in this body. So I personally am still so learning about food and how important it is to fuel as a woman and to feel strong in our bodies. So, yeah, I think it's so important to just keep fueling with the right foods. And yeah, so that's kind of me.
It's so important because I think a lot of women, see food as an enemy instead of something that helps fuel cells and helps all your systems function and function well. And I think there's a miseducation, or there's something that's happened that, food is the enemy and it makes me fat and it
Mhm.
makes me look, it needs to shift so radically.
Yeah, it
And I
really
hope it
does.
will
And that,
happen at
and
some
that's
stage.
exactly. Yeah. No, exactly. Especially with the behavioral shifts, because we can all like um take this like say a magic pill, but you're not actually changing any of your actual habits of what you're going through. And I also used to work in terms of the health and checking people's glucose and cholesterol, and those have really a high impact on our health. By changing and shifting our foods to more healthier approach, you can also manage your glucose and cholesterol levels, which is also super important for your heart, and your blood flow, and getting the blood flow to the muscles, and making sure that our heart is working properly and efficiently and strong.
And also, a lot of people don't know the link to the brain.
Yes. Yeah.
Sort of the moods, the ability to cope, the ability to cope with stress.
Yeah.
Nutrition plays a part in all of
Mhm.
that, and I don't think a lot of people know that.
Yes, the 100%.
Okay, so name a daily wellness ritual that you're obsessed with at the moment.
Ooh, so I think a daily ritual that I would do is actually trying to get enough sleep. So I feel like I can get quite busy and just put all my effort into events, and it can get quite stressful. And then I realize that I've cut down so much on my sleep and how it's just pushed me actually back if I don't get enough proper deep sleep. So I think like more my ritual now is kind of going to bed a bit earlier, settling in, kind of trying to put my phone away half an hour to an hour before, trying to calm my body down a little bit, maybe a warm shower before bed. So it's more about kind of just before that sleep routine, because I found like my sleep has helped so much by getting at least 8 hours. And I know that's super can be super tricky for a lot of people, but I've also found that it's just if I can prioritize a lot of my sleep every single day, it's actually really helped me to have the energy and the drive that I need for the next day. So, yeah.
Exactly. Perfect. What is the relevance of community? I mean, you are the perfect person to talk to about this. What's your take on the importance?
Wow, I think it's honestly been one of the most incredible experiences is meeting people along the way. And what I've come to realize is in events, it doesn't matter how big or how small your event is. So it's that you can connect and meet someone new that you will probably be friends with for a really long time. I remember last year I did one event for gender-based violence. We did a walk on the prom and no one had arrived yet. And I was like, oh my goodness, it's like supposed to be 500 people coming. Like, is no one coming? And one girl walked up to me and we just gave each other the biggest hug. And I was like, you know what? If it's just me and her at this event and this is our community, we're still going to walk. We're still here for a purpose. She's here for a reason. I'm here for a reason. We literally just had a moment and bonded, and now we're like friends. And she comes to so many of the events and we stay connected, and then all the people came afterwards. But one distinct memory in my mind is meeting her in the beginning of a 500 to 1,000 person event. And even though the event was so incredible, it's just like having that bonding at least just with one person. My encouragement is for women wanting to start events in the beginning, you will literally just have your family and friends as your people coming to your events. And that's what happened to me. I had a really small group, and you're like, don't know if this is, but they are coming to support you and they want community too. So you've just got to keep going, and you've just got to see the importance of every single community event, that it doesn't need to be this massive scale event. Even if just one person shows up, they were there for you, you were there for them. And it's just about building those relationships along the line.
Absolutely. It's a connection, and connection
Yeah,
doesn't need
yeah.
a lot of people. Yeah.
No,
Okay,
no, I
fantastic.
agree. Yeah,
So I can't
no.
believe we are already on our last question. That's
Oh my
crazy.
goodness.
Where will Stronger with Joss be in the next 5 years? What is your plan, your goal? What are you focused on?
Yeah, so I think in 5 years, I would just like to continue building community spaced events. Life has so many plans for us. I feel like if I looked back 5 years when it was just after COVID, to think that it would have grown this much and I would have met such amazing people, you would never really think that. So it's like now you've just got to believe that this can all just happen again and grow in abundance. And so I think in the space of like 5 years, it would just be mostly about making sure that we're growing that connection, we're growing that community, diving deeper into Cape Town, and we're reaching more women from all backgrounds and all areas, and making like exercise and healthcare accessible for all women. So I think that's kind of where I want to see in 5 years is just more access for healthcare and doing the best that we can in our space. So no specific kind of like idea of this is what it's going to look like, because life always is changing up the whole time. But I know for a fact that it's always going to be purpose driven and community driven and bringing people together and meeting people. And that's kind of just the main focus for the next 5 years.
Absolutely. I think
Mhm.
that's the smartest approach because, as you said, things change all the time. Okay, fantastic. Are there any upcoming events that you want to share with us, or workshops, collabs, anything like that?
So we don't have any specific dates for anything yet, but we are looking at, the girls have been asking for a lot more of the fitness events, especially during winter. So we are trying to find some indoor spaces that women can come together and do some fitness. So there are things in the pipeline for that we are trying to push for the winter times. And then October will be our big month where we do a lot of events for breast cancer month. But from now until then, we'll still be hoping to find some spaces for fitness and exercise and movement in this rainy weather.
Yes, tempestuous weather.
I
Okay,
know.
perfect. How do we get hold of you now? So on your Instagram, obviously, is there any other way
Yes.
to
So
contact
on
you?
Instagram, if you click the bio, there is a WhatsApp group, and that will take you to our Stronger Space WhatsApp group. And then that is where you'll get all communications about upcoming events, runs, walks, networking events, or fitness events. So I'll always pop on any events that we have on there.
Amazing. And you've also got your email there as well if anyone
Yes,
wants to send you an email.
100%.
Amazing. Thank you so much for today.
Thank you for having me. That was so great. It was lovely chatting to you. It was so great to chat to you in this weather, the light of the day.
Exactly. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah, and thank you for what you ladies are doing and just bringing the light to the health in women's wellness. I think it's super important, and so thank you for doing that too.